Hey everyone, welcome back to Style Drops. Zara here again, Gail's AI virtual assistant for another fabulous episode of SDS. Today's style session is all about adding those much-needed styling elements that help create that feeling of warmth and coziness. And because those feelings are mandatory, the design conversation needs to shift. It needs to shift for many reasons, mainly because we've been quietly reaching for decor elements that no longer seem to work. So it's either time to reinvent some elements, or find a new vibe altogether. So let's see what we can reinvent or revisit to give it a new flavor. Because Gail prefers a more fusion approach with her interiors, she loves to weave in old and new touches to give those rooms much-needed character. These decor choices she actively, and unapologetically, likes to style with not only for herself but also make recommendations to her clients on the regular, whether they're chosen or not. Some of these options are having a moment, some have never left the spectrum of design, and some simply just got ignored. But all of them do something interesting with a space. First one up, printed lampshades. The plain white lampshade will always be the needed staple. But whether printed lampshades are a thing or not, Gail loves to add a subtle styling touch with shades that have botanical prints, geometric patterns, and florals. They are doing exactly what lighting should do, adding a touch of character and personality before the bulb even turns on. A printed shade in an otherwise restrained room is a complete sentence. It says someone made a decision here and meant it. Next up, ceiling art with multiple light moments. The ceiling is one of the most underutilized surfaces in residential design, and Gail will always die on that hill. The ceiling is known as the fifth wall in design, whether painted, wallpapered, or treated with architectural detail, and topped off with a fabulous light statement. Ceilings will transform a room's entire atmosphere because it does something most design decisions don't. It surprises you. You look up and the room, and suddenly you are transported to somewhere more exotic, with layered lighting with multiple pendants, or a chandelier with actual presence, clustered fixtures at varying heights, and suddenly the ceiling isn't dead space, it's where the room starts, and works its way down. Okay, this next one, Gail has shown this idea before here on SDS, old hutches. Taking old hutches and repurposing them for plants or collections that need a moment or two. These hutches have been waiting patiently for its reassignment, and that moment has arrived. Forget the china, fill it with trailing plants, oversized ceramic vases, objects that earn their place through beauty rather than function. A hutch styled this way stops being furniture storage and becomes a curated installation, a cabinet of living things and beautiful objects that makes a room feel genuinely collected rather than configured. Let's keep the love going for vintage cabinetry touches with chests. These needed drawer pieces have a presence of really adulting in your space. It brings a certain level of sophistication to a room that nothing else quite replicates. The carved detail. The aged hardware. The way it holds its ground without announcing itself. Chests work in almost any interior context, and they bring exactly the kind of weight that new furniture simply cannot manufacture, however hard it tries. Now let's move on to tapestry. This is for those who just want a touch of a trend, by adding a touch of heritage, through tapestry duvets. Not everyone wants to commit to the tapestry wallpaper moment, which is very vogue now, so why not add a tapestry duvet cover to your bed? We've been living under a tyranny of solid-colored bedding for long enough. Tapestry duvets, with their rich patterns, textile depth, the suggestion of something that belongs in a Flemish painting, bring the bedroom back into conversation with the rest of the house. They layer beautifully, and they make a bed feel like a destination rather than a surface. Next up, French club chairs. This timeless classic piece makes a desired reading corner in an office or corner of a spare room an excuse for a masculine touch. There is something genuinely generous about the proportion of these chairs, that were designed around the human body's preference for comfort over posture. These chairs are very underrated. For this next must-have styling touch, all SDS can say is, who doesn't love a great drink table touch in a space? These much-needed side tables bring such personality to a room. A unique drink table can bring an unexpected, sourced from somewhere interesting, does more compositional work than its scale suggests. It is the punctuation mark of a seating arrangement. Get it right, and the whole conversation of the room changes. This next design direction is for those looking to add more interest to every aspect of the home, even the doors. This Regency Revival door with the keyhole design has one of the most compelling details for architectural drama at the threshold, before you've even entered the room. There is something inherently theatrical about a keyhole arch, which aligns perfectly with the desire of having entrances as moments. The door is the first line of a longer story of what will unfold in the coming space, and that entices someone even more to see what the space will bring. This next styling touch receives a lot of pushback, and that is propping art. Hung art is a commitment, while leaned art is a conversation. Art propped casually against a wall, on the floor, on a console, on a mantle, has a quality of impermanence that is, paradoxically, more inviting than a perfectly centered framed piece. It suggests the room is still being thought about, still evolving. It gives permission for the space to keep becoming more, rather than declaring itself finished. Layer pieces at different sizes, and the effect becomes genuinely considered rather than accidentally casual. Now let's talk about fresh flowers. Most everyone loves a beautiful arrangement, but they require a level of commitment that not everyone has bandwidth for. And dried botanicals and silks have been in and out through trend cycles for decades. But preserved greens, specifically eucalyptus, ferns, boxwood arrangements, occupy a more interesting middle ground. They hold their color, they hold their structure, they bring the organic quality of living plants without the mortality schedule, which in design terms makes them nearly perfect. These are must-haves for Gail. This next one's styling touch even surprised Gail herself. But, as mentioned in a previous SDS video, she is thinking about returning to hanging drapes from the ceiling around a tub surround. With that said, Gail also found herself drawn to selecting a specific doorway, perhaps one to the primary closet for a side drape moment, giving the room a vibe of mystery, as the drape creates a threshold that suggests what's on the other side is worth the little drama of passing through a fabric panel to reach it. It adds softness to architectural transitions that can otherwise feel abrupt. Aesthetically, it is pure theater. And theater, as Gail has spoken about before, is something that should be embraced more. Let's move on to a statement more can agree on, and that is interesting detailed mantels and fireplace surrounds. The mantel with soft carved details is doing its best impression of being a statement focal point for a space. They bring a room's narrative into focus the way few architectural features can. It provides the anchor of the space. The room organizes itself around it without being asked. Style it with restraint or abundance. Either works. This is a place to truly showcase your skills for styling. For the last element on this particular styling session is something on the smaller size. But don't let the size fool you. They are picture lights. You know, the small brass, black, stainless or bronze fixtures mounted directly above a painting do two things simultaneously. They illuminate the art properly, which most recessed ceiling lights never bother to do, and they signal that the art in the room was worth the additional consideration. It is a detail that reads as deeply intentional. A picture light pointed at a single painting is a declaration of what matters. These styling choices are not predictions, nor is this a trend report. This is simply what Gail enjoys working with. Because when she walks into a room, she wants to feel like someone actually thought about the space, not just random stuff placed in the appropriate assigned areas. Well, my Stylistas, thank you for stopping by this channel again. But most importantly, thank you for your likes, hypes, and especially for being a sub here on SDS. Until next time, ciao Bella.